I'm not your typical vegan that went vegan because it was cool on social media.
Right.
I stopped eating meat in federal prison when I was 21. I made that decision right there to do a hard reset, and I created this mantra that if it requires harm, then I don't want to have anything to do with it. And I never looked back, and that was about 23 years ago.
You talk about going vegan in federal prison. You're surrounded by men.
Yeah.
I want to hear what that transition was like, and maybe some of the social challenges you faced,
Right.
maybe even the physical challenges, because I'm guessing they didn't have seitan. And
Yeah, they didn't have Gardein and Beyond
Okay.
Meat and all of that. These faux products to help me transition. Yeah, it was challenging in some capacities, but when you are dialed in and you are convicted of your passions, right?
Right.
You don't care. We didn't have the science and the data back then to know what eating plant-based can do to the human body specifically. All I know is that I didn't want to have anything to do with harm and hurting animals. So I would trade my meat protein with my cellmates for their carbs. So I ate a lot of simple and
They were
complex
like, yeah,
carbs.
he's the man now. Give me that. And you're like, oh, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they thought I was crazy. They would say, you're crazy and you're weird. I can't believe you're doing this, Dom. And, I was like, this is something my heart is telling me to do.
Did you influence any other people there?
Yeah, I did influence a couple guys, but just to maybe do the reducitarian approach. But
Right.
no one else in my section, in my cell,
Was
on my
serious.
deck, none of them. The most guys would just not eat pork or beef. There was a
Right.
lot of guys that practiced that for their religious purposes, but I was the only plant-eating dude there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when we talk about cultural pressures when it comes to manliness and when it comes to being tough and strong, I want you to take us back to your growing up and what
Sure.
landed you in prison and maybe how these societal pressures led you there. Tell us about that.
Experiencing that and then growing up, I had to do what I had to do. And I'm going to save y'all all the details of what I did, but I used to be big in the streets in terms of selling drugs, not using or abusing. I want to make it clear, I didn't go to jail for violence. I went to jail because I was selling.
Yeah.
So that landed me in federal prison. And it was there that I made that hard reset and that decision to stop eating meat because I was trying to figure
You were
out.
like, I love plants. Plants got me here. Plants are getting me out of here.
Well, it was a little bit of a harder plant, the
Okay.
cocaine plant that got me there, in terms of what we was doing. Yeah, life deals us cards sometimes, and you just have to
Right.
play that game
Right.
in order to get out that game.
Right,
So,
and see
I
the
did.
light.
Yeah,
You did.
I retired, but
I retired.
I did. I went to school for architecture and
Oh, nice.
college, but that lifestyle called back up to me when I was in school. That's when I got indicted when I was in college.
Okay.
It was like a one last score type of situation where a childhood friend of mine really needed a favor for me to get him out of, and so happened it was a setup that landed me back into that scenario. So yeah,
All happened for a reason.
It's
Yeah.
part of our journey, right?
it is.
Right.
It made me a better man.
Yeah,
it made me really a better man.
Do you think you would have gone vegan if you hadn't had the time to sit, pause, and think?
I don't think I would have went as early.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I would have for sure because, like I said, one thing I didn't discuss when I was sitting in my prison cell that first week there, everything pointed to this memory when I was 8 years old. My mom used to feed us chicken wings because that's really all we can afford is pork chops and chicken wings. And it was that moment in that memory that came back to that kitchen table, similar to this table right here. But she had some fried chicken in front of me, and I'm looking at those chicken wings. And I looked at her, and I looked at those wings, and I looked at myself and my arms. And I just pushed back, and I was like, I can't do this. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, they look like little bitty arms. And it's kind of very hard and challenging for a single black mom that's working multiple jobs to keep the lights on as a nurse, in the 80s. And my mom was an LPN nurse, and anyone knows anything about LPN nurses, they don't get paid nothing, especially back then.
Right.
And she just, it's not like she could run to Google, like, what do I feed this kid now?
Yeah, exactly.
This kid is not wanting to eat, and all they know, back then, parenting, all you know is just like they have to eat meat. They should
Right.
eat meat.
Exactly.
And I was like, yeah, I don't want it. So she said to me, like, you know, my mom is a no-nonsense type of woman. I love her to death. If you ever meet her, she has the biggest heart. Would take off her jacket for anyone that needs it and give her last to anyone that needs it. She has a big heart. But she in that moment was like, well, then you're not going to eat.
Right.
But I'm a chip off the old block. I'm a straight shooter, and I speak my mind. I said, well, then I'm not going to eat.
Oh,
So
already he's
so
like, I don't care.
Yeah, just I'm
So
not
good.
doing it. It's just disgusting to me. And
Wow.
Because I would even get grossed out by people
I
that
was
would
the
eat chicken
freako that would
wings.
chew on the bones. I was that freako.
You was?
I would chew on the bones and like
Yeah.
eat the inside. Like I was a psychopath. So like
You was like sucking it out like.
I could put it in my mouth
Yeah.
and pull it out just bones, and I was like,
See.
actually, I'm gonna chomp on these bones.
Yeah.
That's how crazy I was. Like,
Yeah.
and now I'm like vegan as fuck. So like, it's possible.
Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.